Hey, AFTERBUZZ! Thanks for tuning in to episode 2 of Vice Principals on HBO, a Trusty Steed. We're going to have all the info coming up, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Burn. Oh, I think this is like a karaoke version.
Take it away.
Inferno. Do you know this one?
I'll be your backup dancer. How about that?
Burn, baby, burn.
Burn,
Let's go
baby,
Inferno. I'm off, but hey, we're just talking about fire. This is a very dark episode.
Very dark episode, yes.
Ooh. So, hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in to episode 2 of, there we go, Disco Inferno, burn, baby, burn. Now you know it. I know you know it at home. Sing along, enjoy it. Save it for the roller disco. I don't know. The kids know what the roller disco is nowadays. That's before any of our times, but whatever.
I do, but yeah, there we go.
Episode 2 of Vice Principal on HBO. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am your host, Tamra Brown. You can find me on Twitter at BrownTamra or on Instagram at Tamra_blue. And I am so happy to be on a panel once again with the lovely and talented Kelsey Hightower.
Yes, I am so glad to be here. Sorry I missed last week, but I'm glad to be here today. I'm Kelsey Hightower, and you can follow me online at any social media at Kels Hightower.
Kelsey just got off of a plane seconds ago.
I did, and here we are. I'm glad that we're finally here, and I'm glad I can make it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk about this episode.
So how are you liking the series so far?
Good. I mean, I kind of felt exactly what you guys were feeling last week, where we were kind of expecting it to be super funny and like the best comedy of the season, but I haven't really got into it as far as that yet. It was also a pilot, and it's also trying to find its sound and its beat, so I'll give it a little slack. But yeah, this episode took a little dark of a turn. I was expecting more laugh out loud moments, but I was kind of on my edge of the seat, like cringing, like, are they really gonna do that?
We're really getting to know these characters.
I know, and it's not pretty sometimes.
Now, did you see, I'm going to jump around a little bit, but Mr. Russell, you know, he was like kissing up in the pilot, and we saw him as like the, you know, the, brown noser, teacher's pet, whatever you want to call him, but like always, you know, that character always has a secret underbelly of a dark side to it.
We saw it.
Side, I wasn't expecting him, the amount of evil that is within him.
I know, to explode and erupt this episode, it was a lot. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it either. So yeah, that fire. What was interesting too is because I would expect Gamby to kind of be the one to really take vengeance on Dr. Brown, and of course it ended up being Lee.
Yeah, Lee Russell. So this episode is called A Trusty Steed. I suppose alluding to the Mr. Gamby's daughter's the fee for boarding her horse, which, as far as I understand, can be quite expensive.
Sounds like it. I never took up that hobby, but yeah, I'm glad I did it.
Yeah. So in this episode, we get to know we get to know Dr. Belinda Brown a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I could kind of see it coming. Maybe some of you did too, so let us know in the comments. But she's not all she's cracked up to be either. Like, I was really enjoying the fact that she was this like strong, powerful, very smart woman that was put into this position, very capable. But we found out that, you know, she's not all that sweet either.
Right. Had to cut some corners to get to the top. So, yeah. And you kind of want to root for, I mean, I guess us being females and, you know, in this industry, we want to root for, like, yeah, she did it, you know. But it's kind of like, yeah, she cut corners to get it. And it's like, oh, that's not as encouraging. So,
yeah. But she demoted Mr. Gamby to, have to come in at 5 a.m. to be the driver's ed teacher. And we see him in that role this episode. And the line, he says something like, I understand driving doesn't come easily to females. Like,
oh my gosh.
To throw in those lines so that, you know, that was the thing about his character that I said in the first episode, is that, like, he's got these very... these lines that, you know, you make him, you really don't like him, but like I guess this episode, I guess I maybe started to see some redeeming qualities a little bit, only because he wasn't as bad as Mr. Russell.
And because I think of his misfortune, I don't know what it is, but it's like he's so down on his luck that it's like you start to kind of sympathize with him. I think the moment when, because you were just mentioning this, Dr. Brown, had to cut corners and we're kind of seeing that other side of her. I really saw that in this episode when she told Gamby to fire Miss Libby. That broke my heart, because I could see you don't really see a reason for her to
because
fire
she comes
her.
in a little late, like no big deal. She's clearly been doing that for 30 years.
Well, and out of the blue, not to even just talk to her or give her a warning or anything. It's just like, all right, Gamby, go fire her. Let's see what you got. But I don't know. I was like, oh, poor lady. I love her.
Yeah, it's meant to be she's clearly showing her just her authority, really exercising her authority in this episode. She also brings in the Sasson character that's there to sort of, I guess, intimidate everybody.
So follow them around. And just kind of be her little spy. So
do you think that she suspects that Gamby and Russell are like sort of tailing for her job?
I think she has to, because when she said that when we saw that she fired all of the vice principals every time that she goes to a new school, I think that she's kind of plotting, or there's got to be something coming up to where she's anticipating firing them or getting rid of them. And I think at the very end of the episode, not to jump to the end already, but when she's getting them on her side and saying, oh, I'm so glad that you're here with me and I trust you and you guys are so good, you passed with flying colors. I think that's just a setup for something else, for her to, find a reason, like maybe she knows that they did the fire and she's just keeping them around to watch them closer.
You keep your enemies close. Or you keep your
Friends
enemies close
and
enemies closer.
Yes, there you are.
For sure. And so when they go to the house, and they actually, I was not expecting to see this much come out in both of those characters, and Mr. Gamby or Mr. Russell, when they're like destroying the place.
Oh, yes.
And just really being vicious.
I know. It was kind of funny. Well, I think it was more shocking. Like, I didn't really get the humor into it because I was in shock about it. I was like, oh, man, they are setting that on fire. It is blazing.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of comedy in that.
I know.
It was just
there was
completely...
one funny moment when he threw the chair and it stuck in the wall, and I was kind of like dying at that moment. But otherwise I was just like, oh no.
But like like destroying the painting and stuff like that. Though, like it was just so sad.
It was.
And I also too, I think we're really starting to see that not only is Mr. Lee Russell not only is he a bad guy or somebody not to be trusted, but he's pretty much a psychopath.
Yeah.
Like he is somebody that is completely self-serving and has no empathy towards other people.
No, and I think we really saw that in his home when he's just so passive-aggressive and he's spitting in his mother-in-law's tea. By the way, I wasn't expecting him to be married to a woman, but anyways.
Well, I assume, we know he's gay, so it's like a marriage of convenience, something that we don't see much anymore. It's not a necessary thing, but
yeah, so we saw him spit into the cup.
But we still don't know where this takes place, so this is still a very, southern...
Yeah,
not
true.
Exactly sure what state it is, but very
traditional and
possibly a very conservative community. So,
yep, I could see that.
Yeah, but I liked his wife.
I did too. That was a funny part. Yeah, when Neil came in and was trying to speak, Asian or American very slowly, English very slowly, and then she's like, "He's right in here. Come here." You know?
Yeah,
that's been done a million times.
I was just gonna say we've seen that joke
pretty funny.
A little bit where somebody is like, "Excuse me," and then the Asian character is just like, "Yeah, right this way."
Yeah,
no problem.
But but they did a pretty good job of it. I liked it. So
still further showing that Mr. Gamby is a bigot and sexist and all of these things. in this episode, it still feels a little like, okay, we get it. So what else? Like, why is he this way? What is it that we like him because he loves his daughter so much,
right?
And we did see that a little bit,
and I think he's gonna be the underdog in it, just being picked on or called out for everything. So I feel like that's gonna help us jump on his side.
So moving forward, I feel like seeing after this part and after this episode and how crazy Mr. Russell is, I'm starting to feel like we're going to see him really do something terrible.
I know. I wonder if that's going to sabotage him.
Is he going to murder somebody?
All for the sake of comedy. I don't know. I mean, it's so extreme, but I wouldn't have expected him to burn down a house. So I don't know.
What is the darkest comedy you can think of series that you watched?
I don't really watch very many dark series.
Like, I mean, Breaking Bad is dark. It was funny at point, but I don't think anybody would categorize that like as a comedy.
No. But that was just so well written. Yeah. Too.
I'm trying to think like what can we compare this to? Because did you watch Eastbound and Down? I
didn't, but you guys had mentioned that a lot last week, that it was very comparable.
And so I'm just curious, like, are we gonna? I feel like at this point we need to go darker. Like at this point, like we've these characters have, at least Mr. Russell has really shocked me. So I feel like at this point we need to go darker. Like I feel like he has nowhere to go except to murder somebody. That's my opinion.
I know, but I just wish there were more jokes or like real laugh out loud moments, you know? So I'm hoping for some more of that to pick up. I think when we get to know the characters better and we kind of get out of the pilot funk, it's always kind of tough at the very beginning.
Totally.
So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to talk about before we wrap up this episode?
Let's see. I think we covered it all. I mean, the fire was the big thing. And I wrote down this quote. As Watson was like putting it on fire, he said, "Let the bloodbath begin," or something. And I was like, that kind of describes the essence of this episode, I think.
Totally.
So, yeah. But yeah.
I think the funniest part for me was Gamby having to pick up the biscuits, and because it's just such a random thing. Like donuts is a normal thing to bring into work. It's like, go pick up some biscuits, and Belinda's biscuits is what they call them. I enjoyed that part of it. And then I guess she, at the end of the episode, he steals the brooch from the house, and then that's what ends up paying for the boarding fee for the horse.
I'm just wondering if that is going to come back later on in this season, and that's how they're going to put together who started the fire. That's always a bad move, to take something from the crime scene.
Yeah, totally. That's a good point. Because I didn't think that. What I thought was, they're gonna find out that brooch isn't worth as much as because that's where my head always goes. Because like my boyfriend is super into like flea markets and stuff, and he'll always buy something and he'll be like, I'm gonna sell this on eBay for $1,000, and I'm like, you're gonna get $2 for that.
You're like, that's like, not real.
Things are never worth what you think that they are anymore, at least.
That is true.
I feel like there was a day where you could like sell a pin on eBay for like 3 times of what it was worth.
Yeah.
But like I don't.
Or
think
that one
like
show,
anymore.
Antique
Roadshow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
All right. So, this was a fun episode. I enjoyed seeing the darker side of these characters.
Yeah, and just getting to know them a little bit. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Any predictions for anything to come in the future?
No, I think just the brooch thing, I think that's going to come back. And that's kind of all I've got right now.
I think you're right. About that.
I know.
And I guess we are not going to see, she's been known to oust her vice principals, so she seems to like these guys. She's going to keep them around, I assume, like the old adage goes, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So she probably wants to keep them around because she knows that they are bad news. That's what I'm assuming.
I'm with you.
Do you think Bill Murray's going to come back?
I hope so. That was such a tease. I mean, wasn't expecting him to stay the whole time, but a little bit more would have been nice.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to see him at some point.
Hopefully, that'll be fun.
All right, you guys. I think that is our wrap of episode 2 of Vice Principals. Please let us know what you thought of the episode. Comment, subscribe, share. Let us know your thoughts. Go ahead, Kelsey. Tell them where they can find you.
All right. You can find me online, any social media, at Kels Hightower.
And you can find me at Twitter at Tamra or at Brown Tamra, and on Instagram at Tamra_blue, and on Snapchat at Hey Tamra. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next time. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.